Hello everyone and welcome back to Liz and Books, and in today's video I'm going to be traveling but through books. I'm going to be using books and their settings to travel to the said country, and I am participating in Herkiad 3.0, so a lot of these books are going to be used for those prompts. So to get started with it, we have The Fountain of Silence by Rita Sepetys. And this one I'm going to be using this one for the history, for the choose your curriculum prompt. And I'm really excited because I have started this and I think I'm like 21% in, something like that. But I love Rita Sepetys' books. So this one follows a American kid, and his family is basically in the oil business. And this is when, sorry, I'm just trying to read. General Francesco is basically the dictator, and it just follows that. And I love some of the plot points in here, but we're basically following like three different POVs, one with an orphanage and people who are taking care of her, and then we have Anna's family, and she's basically like a worker at this hotel, and they're trying to save up to move away. And then we have Daniel, and he's a photographer, and his dad wants him to be in the oil business, but he doesn't really want that in life. And so I think basically he's going to be telling the story of true Spain, because obviously in a dictatorship you're going to be very watched, very controlled, and all of that. So I'm excited to finish this one. Next we have All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Doerr, and I'm going to be using this one for Western Europe, and I'm excited to read this one. Basically, from what I understand, is it's about a dad and his baby girl, and she becomes blind. But this is when the Nazis have taken over Germany, I believe. I don't know if it's set in Germany, but I think it is. Yeah, it's set in Germany. Set in Germany, and they had just taken over, and basically there's a lot of Jews disappearing and a lot of them getting killed. So again, I think this is going to be another important read. And with that being said, I know that this is kind of like a fun and lighthearted video, but I will say that I do take all the topics that are going to be mentioned in this book very seriously. And basically, come back to The Fountain of Silence by Rita Sepetys, what I like about this is it shows that kids can be really innocent, but their parents can still live in ignorance. And I think we got a lot of that going on right now with certain stuff. So yeah, I'm just trying to be aware and like be mindful of that. And then another book that I have that I don't physically own, but I think I'm gonna have to purchase on my Kindle, which I'm totally fine doing because I want to support the author, is called Odessi. I think I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry if I'm not. And then I'm using that one for Eastern Europe, and it's by Gabriella Scheer. Now, I've heard that this one is kind of more of a horror novel. And then also, with that being said, I'm going to be reading Mexican Gothic by Silvia Morena Garcia. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong again. I'm going to try my best. And I'm going to be using that one for Latin America, and that one's also kind of a horror story. Now, with both, I don't really know anything about Odessi, but because I like to kind of go into those books blind. But I think Mexican Gothic is basically this woman gets called back to her childhood home, and it's kind of haunted and mysterious. And with that being said, I'm going to get back to reading The Fountain of Silence by Rita Sepetys, and I'm really excited to read this one. And I'm excited to be participating in Herkiad 3.0 this year. So I have a lot of fun videos that I want to do with books that fit the prompts and criteria. And with that, hello everyone, I have some reading updates. So I ended up finishing The Fountains of Silence yesterday, and I think I'm going to give this one a 4 stars. Now, this is by Rita Sepetys. So basically, this book is I listened to the audiobook for this, and I feel like this was the best way for me to digest it because there are Spanish words in it, and although I'm not like fluent in Spanish, I kind of like being read Spanish words to me because I feel like it helps me understand them a little bit better. But yeah, she also has like a glossary for she also has a glossary for all the Spanish words that she uses in here. But I love this book so much. I'm gonna be giving it a 4 stars. I just really liked it. I feel like the ending was so sweet. Most of the time her books end kind of like sadly, or like not, like they're just kind of more sad. So I'm happy that this one worked out, and I'm really excited to read I Must Betray You by her. I tried to read her books like basically in her publication order. So I believe, so I read like Salt to the Sea, Between the Shades of Grey, and Out of the Easy. So this one was next, and then the only one I have left from her is I Must Betray You, and I'm really hoping that she's working on another novel. I just feel like I really love that you can tell that she puts in the work to do the research. And even at the end of the audiobook, in her author's note, she was saying like, please go read the history books, please go read memoirs by people that were actually there in those times, because obviously she is doing the research for the time period, but obviously we were born in the day and age where like we're not going to be living through that. But what I will say is I love that this basically explores I mean, it basically essentially shows that parents can be very ignorant with certain things, but Daniel, our main character, was like willing to learn and wanted to basically show not the rougher parts, but like basically the Spain that not a lot of Americans actually got to see during that time. So I love that so much about it. And for my next book, I think I'm going to be reading The Poppy War. Yeah, sorry. So for The Fountain of Silence, I'm using this for Herkiad 3.0, and for that, I'm going to be using this one as choose my curriculum, and I'm going to be using it for history because I feel like it just fits the prompt really well, like we are exploring history. And basically hello everyone, I have some updates actually. So I picked up and read All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony, I believe Doerr, and this book basically follows a father and his daughter, and they travel to Saint Merlo. Yeah, Saint Malo in France, and basically he is a gatekeeper for a museum, and they like specialize in all different types of things, but he makes like locks for these specific jewels, and his daughter Maria is basically blind, and they have to travel to this different country with a jewel, and other people also have the said jewel, and they don't know whether it's fake or real because they just basically didn't want the Nazis that were invading France to take said jewel, because they just wanted it to be a part of their history collection. Obviously, like, museums are so important for that reason, and during this time the Nazis would take collections that belonged to Jews and all this other stuff and obviously kill them, and that's but this also follows Warner, and he was an orphan with his sister, and basically it's kind of about him doing what he's expected to do, but also kind of like lying in some sense because he does know some certain things and he finds certain things out about him. And I will say again, this book is very much gives kind of like the Poppy War in the sense that it does seem like it's children getting put in adult-like situations when they are far too young. So obviously, like, he understands and recognizes that what the Nazis and them invading France is wrong and isn't good, and he just likes radios and everything that has to do with that and frequencies, and even him listening to certain frequencies like at night would get him shot and killed because they weren't. But again, it does follow that, and I gave this one a 4 stars. I thought it was really well done. I feel like it could have been really cool if we got to follow some of the other families and the other people that were having this fake jewel, because obviously there's a curse surrounding it. Basically the person wants the jewel to be thrown back into the sea because they want it to go back to their lover, because that's who it was made for, and obviously they keep it out, and so it's set to say that like people will be cursed, so like your family members will die but you get the immortality, basically, or immortality, sorry, where you don't pass away. Sorry. But yeah, it was really good, and I really liked his writing, and I am kind of excited to see if he has more. And I am actually watching the TV show right now. I'm not that far into it, but I saw a press release for this like a while back before they even made this, and I just love the fact that they are using an actress who is actually blind. I think that representation is so important and so cool, because obviously even back then too, like, considered having disabilities, they were also harmed because they all. But yeah, I thought this was really good, and I'm loving the TV show right now. It is so good. So definitely recommend reading the book and then watching the TV show. I'm definitely gonna plan on doing different, like, movie nights, if you will, if I read the book and the movie, they have a movie out. And for here, we traveled to France with this book, and I'm going to be using it for the Herkia 3.0 prompt of the different regions. And for this, I'm going to be using it for Western Europe. I believe it might be Eastern, but Western Europe. And I'm really happy I read this. It was really good. And then, so I have another reading update, and I actually finished Odessa by Gabriella Shear. I listened to the audiobook, so I do not have a physical copy, and I will say that is what's holding me back from finishing this video, is I don't have access to one other book for this video. So I might end it off here and then do another video where I travel to settings through books more. But for this one, it follows a girl named, I believe, Yeti? I think I might be saying that wrong. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it follows a girl named Yeti, and basically what happens is a lot of Jewish people are getting kidnapped and taken away, or just outright killed by another nearby town, because it's like a clan. And obviously this is set in like World War II or World War I vibes, where the Jews are getting killed off for absolutely no reason. And basically one day they raid the town, and she ends up getting killed, but her Abba, which means father in Hebrew, I believe, basically he resurrects her, and she becomes a creature like a golem that's supposed to save her people, because she's supposed to fight off all those people and save them. And from there, it just follows her finding out the truth of what happened to her, and like what happens when people have certain control over you. And I really liked it. I gave it a 4 stars. I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, or I don't know, like in the beginning I felt a little lost on what was happening, but I did love the different POVs we switched through, because there's multiple different storylines, not storylines, but multiple different plot points between the father, her mother, and just all this other stuff. And you do find out the truth of why people are just disappearing off the streets, because it's specifically women and children, not like the men or anything. But yeah, other than that, I think I'm going to end off this video. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I had so much fun traveling through these books. And with that, I'll catch you in another video. Bye guys. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.